Crash Bandicoot 2. Cortex Strikes Back. Press start to begin.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I am Andrew, and I'm alongside Stephen and Sean. We are Cal Gaming, and welcome to our playthrough of Crash Bandicoot 2. Cortex Strikes Back for the PlayStation 1.
Could have called this Cortex Strikes Back and then 3 Cortex Strikes Out.
Hi, Clancy Brown.
Yes.
Of course.
That's brilliant.
Doesn't he mean, wow?
Now, what's this? You're doing the original version, Andrew, not the remaster? Yes, because this was a childhood game for me. I mean, I grew up with the PlayStation. I think this was my second PS game I ever got as a child. Never better, of course.
The very first PlayStation game the very first console game, period, that I ever played was a PlayStation game. Oddworld Games Odyssey.
And this is the first. We're now diving into Crash Bandicoot. So I know this is a particular favourite of yours as well,
I
Stephen.
fucking love this game.
Not just that, but the series in general.
Yeah.
I've been playing this series since like the early 90s.
Yeah. The original Crash was the first PlayStation game I ever played.
Oh, aye. That even though when you go back to that one, if you decide to go 100%,
It's a little easier now in the remake,
Aye.
but it's still hard on the colored gem ones because you can't
Yeah.
die there. They should have changed that, honestly.
Now, the way I'm playing this is I'm actually playing this off the PS3 because I wanted to give it the high definition treatment. But unfortunately, that digital version does not allow analog support, so I'm stuck with the D-pad.
Here's the thing. You can go into the PS menu to turn on analog support, and it registers as being activated. But the second you leave that menu, the analog shuts off. What? The analog actually works on the Vita when you're playing this on the Vita.
Cutscene. Cutscene. Everyone shut the fuck up.
Oh, fuck you too.
Well. If it isn't Crash Bandicoot.
Hi, Mr. Krabs.
Yeah, Clancy Brown. He's everywhere. I mean, he was Mr. Krabs, he's Cortex, he was in Detroit, he was in...
Lex Luthor.
Yeah, Lex fucking Luthor.
Yes, I noted the guy who told us to shut up just spoke through all that.
Well, we don't. We've never done it before. We always talk over. We've got provide banter, remember?
Too lazy, didn't read. Cortex wants us to pick up crystals.
Yes, Cortex wants shiny things.
It's a good thing Crash doesn't think.
Seriously. Now, this load save menu is not here in the remake, actually.
Aye, because well, what was good in the originals in the originals you can name your save files. Like in the remaster you can't do that.
We're going classy.
Well, I had a tough time thinking about the name, so fuck it is. I can get away with it, so.
Do you erase this poor soul's existence later, like Matt did in his playthrough on SGB?
We'll see. Now, whatever these levels that you can progress through these levels at any choice you want, but we're gonna go to level 1, so unoriginal. But what if you were to completely ignore the crystal if you went to level 1?
Now, Andrew did not know this at the time, but there are actually 3 phrases you get from Cortex for doing this.
No, Crash. I said bring me the crystals! Now, get back in there.
They kept this in the remake, and you need to get all 3 phrases as part of the platinum. That's
well,
great.
I kind of forgot that there was a third one, but at the same time I was like, I don't want to do this 3 times in a row and to keep you guys waiting and all that, because, get into this classic game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't want to wait around.
Exactly.
Oh no, Crash. To save the world, I need crystals.
Where's his top lip?
The lip syncing in this is actually really good for a game on the PS1.
That was 1997. That was really good. Not to mention, this was Naughty Dog's, game. These were games that made Naughty Dog the way they are today. I mean, they did Crash Bandicoot, then they did
Uncharted.
No, there was something. Jak and Daxter, was it?
Yeah, Jak and Daxter.
And then they did the Uncharted series and Last of Us. Now, for this level, folks, there's a blue gem here. To get the blue gem, you have not to destroy any box in the level. How would you figure that out as a kid?
Because here's how. If you go back and replay the level and run all the way to the end, the box counter actually says 0 out of 40.
Huh.
But you have to go back and play the level again. How would you figure that out unless you just randomly decided, you know what? Let me speedrun this level again.
I have to say the weather effects are really good for PlayStation 1 standards.
Yeah. Oh, it'll look even better in the remake.
I'm shocked.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I think the remake controls a little bit odd. Not bad, but it's because you use analog support. You know?
Yeah, I think I've seen they've actually, for the remake, they based the controls off Crash 3, which 1 and 2 were not built for.
You're trying to cheat.
Yeah, you can cheat your way through the bottomless pit. Well, not bottomless pits, but pits you by going on the sidewalks there.
Now, there is a glitch in this game that they kept for the remake. If you do we now have the slide in this game, which if you jump if you jump while sliding, gives you a super jump.
Yeah.
If you spin the very frame you leave the ground after super jumping, you'll gain a lot more height.
Aye.
For some reason.
And you can do that and if you know how to do that, you can get the red gem early.
Yeah, they fixed that in this by moving the red gem higher.
Now, what I'm doing here is that because I'm
First
not.
half.
Well, yeah.
I was about to ask, why did you just pick up the crystal then? Because I thought for a second I thought you were going back for it.
Well, obviously with Crash Bandicoot games, to get the clear gem, you got to destroy all the boxes in the level. What I did there is because I knew that to get the blue gem, is to not destroy the boxes, so I didn't destroy any checkpoints. Which then, if I die, it takes me.
Be back there.
I'll be back at the beginning of the level, and I still
count
and it would still count the blue gem. So all I need to do now, because I've got the blue gem, is just beat the level and pick up the crystal. Hence why I left it earlier.
Yeah, I think like Twin Sanity would change that so you couldn't like.
Well, Twin Sanity was completely different. It was more free, open kind of design.
Unfortunately, it was always so very rushed.
I never knew that.
Yeah, the game is quite clearly unfinished. Unfortunately.
And I thought Rafa Cortex was the broken one. Oops.
What the fuck was that? That turtle
That was
laughing
Andrew
at
fucking
you.
up.
We may never speak of this again.
That's your.
That was depth perception fucking me over.
No, that's
He
your.
claims.
That's your big failure on this channel. Mine was the Chainsaw Magini on RE5.
Oh, boo hoo.
Yours is now that.
Be quick around these flamingos, yeah?
If you fail, if you don't get off them in time, they dig their heads in the ground.
And you can't get the boxes.
No, you can, if you use the super jump spin glitch.
Huh. Be careful with these birds, though. If you don't spin on those birds, they push you back.
Into a pit.
But hey, the reason why I died in the very first bit before
You're dumb.
No. I was talking about... Before you rudely interrupted, I was getting the blue gem. I decided to die there because I didn't want to restart the stage with no load times.
Yeah, I know about that one, but when you went down there and died, that was just you being dumb.
That was me being stupid, okay?
So he admits it. I wonder what other hilarious fails he'll have.
We'll see. Crash Bandicoot isn't... Well, I won't say Crash Bandicoot isn't the Dark Souls that some video game publishers claim to be.
No.
But it can be a bit challenging, mainly because the problem about Crash's jump is that he's gains a lot of momentum, so it can be a bit uncontrollable at times, because he's flipping his legs forward.
Crash 1 is easily the hardest.
Aye.
Even in the remake.
Well, not so much when you just want to go from beginning to end. It's when you get that mindset to go 100%, that's when it becomes completely different.
In Crash 1 on the remake, they did fix that you can now get any clear gem on the clear gems you can get while dying. The colored gems you have to do in one run without dying.
And unlike Crash 1, though, in this game, the checkpoints save your box total, so you won't have to worry about missing anything at the back.
The only problem is that you can't tell how many boxes are still in the level. If you hold triangle, basically you get a very basic view of your fruit, your Wampa fruit, which collect 100, you get an extra life.
Aye.
Your life count maxes out at 99.
I wonder if I'll get to 99 by the end of the game. But yeah, as Steven mentioned, in this game they did not introduce a box total. It does count the number of boxes you have, but doesn't tell you how many boxes are in the level. They wouldn't put that until Crash 3.
Yeah. So you could get to the end of the level and see that you missed a box.
Yeah, you can be on. It's really a pain in the arse when you're missing one box.
Yeah.
There's one level in particular.
There's always one.
There's one level in particular much later on that pulls some really scummy shit with the placement of one of the boxes.
Yeah.
Here we have another staple in the series, the Crash Dance!
Yep.
They changed it slightly in the remake.
Well, it's kind of odd. It's like that
Steps in
walking
place
and
there.
step in place. Oh?
Well done, Crash. I knew I
Go
could
buy me
rely on
pizza,
you.
Crash.
Carefully. These holograms are hard to
I don't want to shop at Domino's.
What kind of scientist has a big N for a tattoo on his forehead?
A very egotistical one. He's full of himself. It's like Wesker.
Well, I did mention in our college playthrough, imagine if the three doctors came together, Neo, Cortex, Eggman and Wily.
Oh, they'd fucking laugh at Wily and throw him out.
If he came as Mr. X
Aye.
in Mega Man 6. Right, on to this first snow level, which I believe was the
Demo
demo level.
Aye.
In fact, what's your history with Crash Bandicoot, Sean?
I would say it was the first, the original Crash was the first one I played on the PlayStation. I think I missed 2 initially, then I went to 3 and got 2 later.
Have you not played any of the ones that came in like the early 2000s, like Wrath of Cortex?
That was the first PlayStation 2 one, wasn't it?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah,
I think that
those
was the-
times.
Aye,
If
yeah,
you
that
didn't
was-
have the platinum version of the game, I think.
I think that was the last Crash I played.
Now, one thing here I have to admit I do not like as I'm getting older. They've incorporated realistic ice physics, and
it
they're
sucks.
a pain in the arse.
The ice physics are somehow even worse in the remake.
Look no further than Mr. Mattelli, who had a really tough time.
Aye.
Wow, those seals did nothing to you and you just murdered them.
Hey, if they hit me, I lose an Aku Aku mask. Or as I'm calling him, a witch doctor.
Now, the mask functions as a hit point essentially. You can get a max of 2. If you get 3,
You get invincibility and a speed boost, which lasts about 30 seconds, with the most funkiest invincibility thing you could ever think of.
which is even better in the remake with the that they added to it. What was that?
Sometimes it does this, and I don't know if it's the digital version because
That's
it's a
it.
port, but sometimes the jump, it doesn't
Drops
respond.
your input?
Like half a second when I'm trying to press the button.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
You might be seeing that for every now and then this playthrough, because this is not the original PlayStation. You know,
Well, it is, but it's emulated.
it's emulated on a
PS3.
PS3.
It's not the disc one.
Aye, it's a digital.
If you actually play it off the disc, you do get the analog control.
Aye, because that's when they introduced that. Actually,
Yeah.
Crash 1 didn't have analog support to begin with.
Resident Evil didn't get analog until Resident Evil 3.
Aye, because the early builds of the PlayStation didn't even have an analog stick at the
Aye.
time.
They didn't. Back then, quite a few people didn't even have a memory card as well, so like Resident Evil was kicking
Aye, the
everyone's
only
ass.
means of saving back then was really long and complicated passwords.
Aye.
Yeah, and in Resident Evil, Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, you had to save with the encryption, so if you didn't have a memory card, you were stuck trying to marathon the game in one go, and if a hunter clipped you with his decapitation attack, that was it, you were fucked and had to start again.
Okay, I'm just gonna go buy Pingu there.
Aye.
Oh, I haven't seen Pingu in a long time. It's
you-
still going, actually, but
Japan.
only in Japan. I don't get why old...
Well, it's because they're not meant to be speaking English. You can never hear what they're actually saying.
Aye.
Now, there's a secret box up here. Once you destroy this bouncing box, hold the jump button to bounce higher, and you hit an
That's some
exclamation
bullshit,
point.
right? The only way you can see that is on your way up the hill there. Why did you spend those for a way?
That's not the worst of it, because this level reminds me of my worst level, well, second worst level in the entire game. Cold Hard Crash.
Do 2 runs of the level and you will have no problems. Why is this so hard for people to understand? Ugh.
Steven Rantime.
But in all seriousness, Cold Hard Crash is only really hard if you try and get everything in one go.
Now, our main goal is to collect the crystals as Cortex demanded us, but you might wonder what are the gems for? The gems are for what give you the better ending.
Yeah, full on 100%. Crash 3 introduces 105%.
And here is Dr. M. Brio from Crash
Nitrous
1.
Brio, I think.
Yeah. Who is now voiced by Maurice LaMarche in today's
Maurice LaMarche, yeah.
Yeah, him.
He's the voice of Egon in the real Ghostbusters and Extreme Ghostbusters.
Alright.
I grew up with those cartoons, so I was like, I recognized him in the newer game. And I'm like, oh wow, that's Egon from the original cartoon.
Now you can see that he's saying we're his sworn enemy. So he's trying to convince us to get all the gems and not the crystals.
Aye.
Yeah, the plot here is that Cortex is trying to act like he's turned a new leaf, but because we see that he's clearly
I mean,
fucking
hell,
lying,
the title of the game is Cortex Strikes Back.
it's actually Brio who's trying to do the right thing here.
Yeah.
you from gathering crystals.
And also stick it to Cortex
Gathering
as
what?
well.
Gathering crystal. What?
Yeah, we're gathering crystals.
It cut off there for some reason. It always does that.
Right, as we go into Hang 8, we'll see you guys in the next part.
Yay!